Super. So, hi everyone, and welcome to today's coaching call. I decided to do some things different this time for this coaching call since I was going through the different comments that were coming up. And specifically in the past few lessons that have been uploaded, also, we've talked about certain limiting beliefs that stop you from going out there and putting yourself out there primarily. Sometimes it's about your prices. You feel that, I might not be ready to charge this much yet. And I'm not even talking about high ticket pricing. I'm just talking about average rates as well right now. Like even if you're new, the rates that you charge, sometimes we lowball our prices too much such that it can negatively affect as well. So pricing for sure is one of the things that is definitely attached to limiting beliefs. But otherwise also, like last time Preksha was discussing something about not being very confident, not in terms of the skill set, but in terms of whether I can do this by handling multiple clients and all of those things. So I thought we'll start with this exercise because more or less every one of us, including me, we go through these different kinds of limiting beliefs on an everyday basis. So I thought we will begin with this short exercise during this specific coaching call, and then we will start with the questions in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Super. Awesome. So I would encourage if anyone, for all those of you for whom it's possible to turn on your cameras, please do so. It makes it super interactive. And also to take a quick notepad, pen, something like that. Just take like 30 seconds for it, get your notepad or a pen, and we'll do this quick exercise and we will begin. Awesome. So what I want you to do is the thing that has been going on for you for this last week, primarily, let's take from Monday to Thursday, today's Thursday, whatever has been on top of your head, which you feel you want to go ahead with, but you're not doing for XYZ reason, or if you have a feeling that is constantly coming up. Like Preksha, I remember about the last feeling that you had discussed with me. If it's the same still, you can write it down on that notepad. If there are multiple things like that for all of you, write those down. If it's a new feeling that maybe something new has come up this week, whatever it is, like first I do want to address the limiting beliefs. If it's also something that you've already worked on, then you can mention that also. Like currently you are feeling this, and this could be the positive thing that you're feeling. Because as in when you go through multiple experiences on a daily basis, a lot of times these experiences play a major role in shifting some of our beliefs, because what we've always believed to be true stops happening. Things start shifting. But what we can do with the exercise that I'm talking about is that we can proactively, even before that experience happens for us, we can actually go out there and shift this in our mind so that the action that we are taking in that regard is not impacting us. I know it sounds a little complicated, but when I start with this exercise and show you a few examples of the same, things will become easier for you to understand. So take a minute and actually write down whatever beliefs that you have are coming up for you. Like I've been 3 months in this industry, I cannot charge this much. Or if it's related to I don't deserve to get more clients, or I don't know if I'm capable of doing the work that I'm committing to, or I don't know if I'll be able to get my clients results, or why will someone pay me for these many hours, like this much for these many hours. So etc etc, it could be anything. I can play soft music for you. Meanwhile, for a minute and a half, like 90 seconds we'll take, and you guys can do that. And as soon as it's done, just mention in the chat that it's done so that I can like explain the next part of the exercise. Shalika. Okay, 1 more minute, guys. If you've done it already, just say done in the chat. And it's okay if you have more, you can just mention the top ones that are coming to you right now. Say you've written 3 or 4 things, that's also fine. Amazing. Super. So we will now start with that exercise. I want you to pick out, like out of all the things that you've written, if you want to share with us, you can share by unmuting yourself or mentioning in the chat also, because a lot of times I feel that most of us are like, depending upon the direction we are thinking in, most of us have very common limiting beliefs as well. So you can share if you'd like, but pick one of your top beliefs right now to work on. I will share this exercise with you and make you do this right now. But you can do it for other beliefs also post this call, like today, tomorrow, the weekend. Take your time and you can do the similar exercise for other beliefs that show up for you as well. So let me know if you've picked up your first, like the top limiting belief or top belief that is showing up in your world right now with the current circumstances. Just say yes if you have. And you can also share it, by the way. If it's not something super personal, you can share it, because I will take one of those examples from the limiting beliefs you guys have and explain it to you, or I'll use my own internal example that I've had. Okay, great, Namrata. A lot of us are in the same boat wherein we are working with the clients but not be able to create our own content. So this is an epic one. Okay, good. Like, not the belief is good, but thank you for sharing. It again resonates, makes sense. Super. Others, for you guys, if it's confidential, also just say yes, so that I know most of you have picked up your top beliefs. And guys, for whoever is going to watch this replay later, do this exercise for your own self. And after you've done this exercise, just leave a comment in the live stream that's showcasing in the group. Okay, cool. Now, the belief that you have first, like the first step of this exercise is to write down the belief, which you all have done. So congratulations on that. Now, the second step of this exercise, which I've written for you guys, is to ask yourself the question with respect to your beliefs. Okay. So is it the ultimate truth? What do I mean by ultimate truth? Is that, for example, let me take Preksha's example for this particular second step, which is I won't be able to gain more followers for my account. So is it the ultimate truth means that, is it already pre-decided? Can you predict the future? Has someone told you, has a Jyotishi told you that, you won't be able to grow your followers? Or have you seen examples in the real world of people being able to grow their own audience while serving clients? Do you know of any such people? Like, think of examples in both the domains. Like, is it something in your network and all across the globe, you know that this is true? Like, being a service provider, this cannot be done. Being a freelancer, this cannot be done. I cannot do it for my own self. Is it that? Similarly, you can ask the same question for other beliefs that you guys have as well. Like, is it the ultimate truth? Like, for example, I have a launch that started. Like, let's take an example. And for that specific launch, this is the day 3rd today. It's a 5-day launch and no one has bought till now. Let's take this example also. So now if I feel that no one has bought, this launch is a flop, I cannot sell. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't think I'll be able to do this. I'm not cut out for this. Let me stop doing this altogether. Does this happen? Now, I'm not saying the launch thing will happen with you exactly, but this kind of thing, does it happen that one thought begins and it ends up spiraling, right? So when this happens, when I ask myself, like, is it the ultimate truth? Like, for every person who has failed once, does it mean that they can never succeed? We know of people, we know of case studies, real life case studies, and people how many of you have actually read Harry Potter? I think most of you guys would have read. Do you know J.K. Rowling? She's the author. And she was rejected 12 to 13 times before anyone agreed to actually go out there and print the first part of Harry Potter, which was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So the idea is that, is it the ultimate truth that if you failed in the beginning, even if it's like you failed in the first 3 days, or if you failed in this first launch itself, is it the ultimate truth that this thing is going to fail and I'm not cut out for this and I cannot do this. No, right? Like she's done it. She's been rejected twice, like 12 times. And now look how big she is. Like after the Harry Potter movies were shot, this was starting to shoot it. And the first movie came, the success that she had, like I don't even have a word for it. It did not triple, quadruple, or five-iple, if that's a word. It massively blew in the right direction. So the idea is that none of the things that we are stating right now is something that is an ultimate truth. Ask yourself this. If you still feel that something is an ultimate truth, then we can discuss more on that. But the idea is that look for evidences. Nimran, for example, hey, I'm so glad to see you here. Like you say, like everyone says, there's so many social media managers out there, so many marketers out there, but people who are still getting clients, they're also in that same market. They don't have, like, I know people who are getting good clients for social media marketing, even while having like less than 1,000 followers, less than 2,000 followers. So what I mean to say is that, is this statement the ultimate truth, that there's so much going on already on social media that how will I be able to stand out? Do you actually need to stand out to get clients? First thing, sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves to stand out that we forget that it's okay if you're not standing out to XYZ person. We may be standing out to ABC person. We want to work with really good clients and we want to convert and get results for them, right? So it doesn't even matter if you're not standing out to someone else. Like I know people on social media who talk about really similar things. Like I follow this one person who was following this another person, and both of them talk like really similar things, but I cannot see the content that the other person puts. She's very good at it. She has a good audience. She has a good content, but I never resonate with her voice. And still the other person who's saying pretty much the same thing, I always wait for her stories. Like I have notifications on. I will also record some of her stories to get that energy and that vibe from her. And these things are not even related to social media marketing or Instagram or anything of that sort. It's just about energies and other stuff. And they talk similar things. Still, we choose people who are good for us. And similarly, I 100% know that people will be out there who will choose the other person over this person because they resonate with them. Right? So you don't need to stand out to everyone. You need to attract your own ideal clients for whom you will be the solution, irrespective of whether you're standing out or not. So, like coming back to the exercise, is it the ultimate truth? Anyone who's found evidences of the things that you've mentioned, are they the ultimate truth? Now, guys, you need to do this exercise after going back from today's call for all of your limiting beliefs. So if anything is coming up, share with me. If not, we will move to the third step, which is the most important step of this exercise and the last step. Okay. Yes, Siley also has a similar one. I may not live up to my employer's expectations and might end up disappointing them. So this is something that, guys, I've seen a lot more prevalent in women, because I'll not say that, men and women are that different overall, but in some things, women end up being so much more hard on themselves than men are. Men will go out there and pitch or, apply for jobs that they're not even 30% qualified for. But women will not even apply for it till they are not 100% qualified for it. So if they are 70% qualified, no ways they won't apply for it. And hence the man who is 30%, like 30%, who has the credibility, or I'll say who has 30% skill set of what's needed for that role, will apply. So who wins in the race? Definitely the men. That's the reason they're paid more as well. And I'm nothing against men. I have amazing men in my life. All I'm trying to say is, because most of us here, like 99.9% of us here are women, like 2-3 men we've got in this community for now, it's fine. But the idea is that we tend to go harder on ourselves just because of this thing, that I will not be able to do this. Why will you not be able to do this? What is the truth, or what is the ultimate truth, or what is the evidence of that you won't be able to do it? You have support. Even if something doesn't go well, you can always come back and ask. You are doing the work every single day. Like I'm talking to not just Preksha here, but most of you who are here in this call, I've seen you guys in so many calls. I've seen you ask questions inside the group. That means you're taking action. And most important part of becoming a social media marketer inside FGA was the second part of it, which was the skill part. Because selling and serving is the experience part of it and getting clients. But if you don't have the skill set, then you won't be able to sell or serve, right? So if you worked on the skill set and you're working through it every day, then you are already ahead of yourself, which you were in like last few days. So the idea is that, and you don't have to be like, you don't have to be better than everyone else out there. You just have to have enough knowledge to be able to help people by providing a service who are behind you, who don't get social media, who don't understand it, who don't even know what reach or impressions mean at times. And they're not supposed to know. They know their job and they do that pretty damn well, right? But you know your shit. Sorry for my language. You know these things. So sometimes it's just, if something start happening positively for us also, we'll nudge ourselves like, no, how can this be happening? Am I deserving of it? Is it possible? Will I be able to live the dream as well? I don't think so. Maybe I just need to hustle. Exactly. So this is like some things that I'm stating for you. But again, like Nimran is also saying, Nimran, I would love to address this separately also. How can you do this? But if it's a belief for you, you do the same exercise. Is it the ultimate truth? Have other people created content? Now, what is the ultimate truth? Do you think that content creation, like if you don't create like say 5 to 6 posts every week and you do 2 to 3 posts, does that mean that you'll not get clients? Is that a truth that you are buying into? Ask yourself that question. I am all for content creation for freelancers, for service providers, because I want you guys to be able to get clients inbound in the long-term game. So you need to do, like, you need to start creating content, but you don't have to do it for yourself 6 times a week as you're doing it for your clients. Even if you're doing it twice a week, it's still good. Well, let's not attach that specific thing to us. Now, again, strategically talking, guys, I would not say that do only 1 or 2 posts, but if you're not doing anything, then doing 2 posts is better than not doing anything. So trust yourself on that first. But I'm going to come to this specifically with respect to some hacks eventually. Let's complete this exercise. Now, with respect to every belief you've had, the second part we've done is we've asked ourselves the question of, is this the ultimate truth? In 99.9% cases, it never is. So think about that with respect to each of your limiting beliefs, and then do the third step, which is how can I reframe or rephrase it? Like, what's a belief that will serve me better? So for example, if I have to take the belief of the launch part that I was taking, the launch example that I was taking, maybe this is a failed launch. Maybe I launched the first time or the second time and it's a failed launch. Is it the ultimate truth? No. Does it mean that if I'm failing, I will fail every now and then and I'll be a failure for the rest of my life? No. And how can I reframe it or rephrase it? Maybe it's just a part of the interesting story I'll get to tell maybe on TED eventually, or later on when I am able to make that money, or I am able to do it well via launches. Or maybe eventually I become the person who helps others with doing launches. That's possible too. So this is the belief that I'm telling myself, that this is a part of my story that is making my story interesting and giving me good lessons, so that in the next launch or in the launch after that, I'm able to make those dream numbers. Or maybe 2 years down the line or a year down the line, I'm telling this story on a podcast, or I get invited to talk somewhere. So this is me reframing that belief. But if I'm talking about the belief that I was seeing here somewhere, which was related to that I cannot make content for myself, I can do it just for my clients because I'm busy or because I prioritize, and things happen like this, have happened with me in the past, still happen. The idea is that, am I believing this to be true? No, this is not true. So how can I rephrase it? I can rephrase it by saying that even if I do 2 content pieces per week, I'm in the game. It doesn't mean I know X, Y, and Z person who posts very less and still gets good clients from the platforms that they're on. So it could be related to LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, multiple platforms. But the idea is that you need to rephrase that belief. At the same time, let me go through some other beliefs as well. I won't be able to gain more followers for my account. So how can I rephrase that belief? I don't need more followers to make more money or to get more clients. What if I make $1,000 a month with 300 followers? What if I make $2,000 a month with 500 followers? So I can rephrase that belief. Like, you don't have to have the what if in that. What if is the question that I'm asking you, but you have to rephrase it into a believable thing that you have evidence for. And this is a 3-part exercise that you can do for multiple things, like for multiple limiting beliefs that you have. Sometimes they're not even related to work. Sometimes they're related to yourself. Like, I have reached this particular weight. Now I cannot lose further. I've not been able to do it ever. I'll not be able to do it. Do you know people who have gone past that plateau? Yes. Is it the ultimate truth? No. People have been able to do it. I can do it too. So what if you can say that maybe it is an indication that I can start focusing some part of my routine on movement also. I've focused on my diet and I've done everything possible. Maybe this is telling me to start moving, to start giving my body some of the movement it totally desires. So likewise, this is something that this exercise can help you reframe those thoughts that are coming to you. I would really recommend you go out there and do this exercise. And there's another thing that I have for you. This is like a hack kind of a thing that mostly whenever we are doing things actively in a daily process, whether it's a launch, whether it's going out there and putting out content, whether it's doing client work, a lot of times we try to find evidences of why it's not working. Like, even if it's not the last day of the launch, I'll see that, okay, these many sales, just these many sales we've made. So maybe this is not working for me. Maybe I put out a link, no one clicked on it. Maybe 10 people clicked on it, but no one bought. So we as human beings tend to look for evidences of why things are not working. So what if instead of doing that, we started looking out for evidences of it being working in the right direction for us? Now, that doesn't mean that still I'll have those 10 people who have clicked on the link in my Instagram story, but they've not bought. Okay. But what is the good evidence here for me is that 10 people clicked. It means the story that I put made sense to these 10 people who've gone out there and clicked on the page and gone to the page. So instead of thinking that no, nothing works for me, I don't know, I'm crazy, I'm bad, you can start looking for, even if there are tiny evidences of it to show you that this thing is working for you, it will propel you in the right direction. Because oftentimes, let me tell you what happens is, when we feel like we create this fixed thing in our mind, just a second, I've written something out, I'm opening it. We've created this fixed thing in our mind, that this is a thought, so we won't take this action. Let me tell you one of these super cool things. This is something that's happened with me. I don't know if it has happened with you guys yet or not. I hope it hasn't. Okay. So now, like, how the mind actually affects actions and results. So basically, if I have this limiting belief of people hate being pitched to, then I will not pitch the sale, or I'll not be confident while pitching the sale, or I'll not be comfortable, and it will show, because most part of the sale is actually, your vibe and your energy and how confidently you pitch the sale. Are you guys with me, or I am just rambling on and on? Because I have 1 or 2 more examples for you to see. Do let me know in the chat and I'll share those examples with you as well. Just a second. Yeah. So the other thing is that a lot of times this might happen now, that people you get on a discovery call with, or who you've been chatting with in your DMs or Facebook, Facebook or Instagram DMs, they say that, after a call, maybe they reach out to you or they let you know, or on the call itself, they'll say that, I want to think about it. So if I have this belief in my mind as the freelancer, as the coach, as the person who's doing the pitch, that, she said that she has to think about it, so the answer is no. If I have that belief, then what is the action that I'll take on that? I will not follow up with her. And if I'm not following up with her, of course, the answer is no. In a very rare case, will she actually reach out to me herself? Because what happens in life is that everyone is busy. They need to be given reminders to actually check out things at times. And so many people would agree to this thing specifically. Like, so many people need to catch up with you, let you know about things. And even science shows that people need to be followed up with at least 10 to 12 times before, which is like an average rate of follow-up for them to actually say yes. So I'm not saying go out there and do 10 to 12 follow-ups, but if I have this belief that, okay, the answer is by default a no, then I'm not going to follow up, or I am maybe going to do a minor follow-up for formality, and whatever way I'm using for that follow-up, whether it's a DM, whether it's an audio note, whether it's an email, it will include that energy of me already knowing that the person is going to say no to me. So the idea is that when we attach, or we have these specific thoughts, we attach them to the actions that we take, it impacts the outcomes that we get. So that's the reason it's important that we work on these beliefs, reframe them, rephrase them for ourselves, so that our actions are not governed by it. And the last thing that I'd like to add here before we get on with the questions, of course, it's 30 minutes. Oh my God, I thought it would be 15 minutes. The last thing that I'll be here about is that oftentimes when it comes to sales, we attach ourselves to the outcome of it. Wherein sales is all about numbers. We've talked about the beliefs or the energies we want to operate from. But when I'm talking about conversion rates, so it cannot happen that 100 people who are coming to your page, 100 people will buy. The average buy rate for a cold funnel is between 1 to 5%. And that is a good rate to have. That means if 100 people land, then if a single person buys from that page, that's a good number still. We can improve it to 2 or 3, but we cannot expect that if 100 people are landing on a page, 50% or 70% of them will buy. That will be ideal. So how can we expect that if we get on like 3 calls and say we get no yes, then that's a good percentage. It's still like, even if one person closes, that is 30% conversion. Even if one person converts out of 5 calls, then that still means that 20% conversion rate is there of our calls. That is a very good rate to have in this industry. It's not bad at all. We can definitely improve, and the rates vary with respect to different industries also, but detaching yourself from the outcome is a must, because when we hold our leads super close to us, it affects our entire day. If someone says no and we still are there to follow up, but that particular thought or that particular email affects our entire day, then the other work that we're putting our attention into will also go south for us, whether it's client acquisition or client delivery, or maybe the work that you're doing for your client. Does it make sense? Do you guys resonate with it? Exactly. Monica, we would love to see your account. We would love to know what all you're creating and posting. Please go ahead and do it. Exactly. That's needed. That's needed, you guys. I'm glad you feel that ways. Because oftentimes it's our thoughts that stop us from taking the right actions that are needed to be taken. Sometimes about our own prices, we have this thought that, I'm too expensive, which makes us not pitch the sale at all. Or even if we are pitching, we're like super scared to reveal the actual price because we feel that it's too expensive. Or, sometimes you might reveal your price to someone and they might say that, no, it's too expensive for me. Does that mean that it's too expensive? No, it might not be a right fit for them. That's okay. That it can be, but it doesn't mean that it's too expensive overall for you as well. So I think you need to resonate with that. If you've not gone through the pricing lesson, please do. Yes, Preksha, I can totally relate to that. I can totally relate to the overthinking thing because I've worked on it for the past like almost 5-ish years. Ever since I was in Amazon also, I was an overthinker. So it's like it goes back as a personality trait. But yeah, these things are things that have helped me. That's the reason I share them. This is the exercise that I had learned about long back. I did it also. But then, life happens and you forget and you move on. And like last week itself, I was doing something for my own mental health, coaching myself on certain things with respect to the business. And I came across this again. And I've been practicing it ever since for the last almost 6-ish, 7 days now. And I thought, like, why not share it with you guys? And you guys can also give it a try. So yes, please do try it for different kind of beliefs you have. If something else shows up in your world, or you feel that, okay, this is shouting out to me, then definitely discuss it with me. Reach out to me. If it's super personal, you can email it to me. Otherwise, you can share it with me and everyone here in the group itself. And I'm having a lot of other people see awesome wins. So guys, keep sharing inside the group because it motivates one another to keep going. Sometimes you're having a low day, but if you see that, okay, this thing has worked for this person after so long, it might still work for me. So let me go back in the game. Okay. And that's said and done, you can absolutely take breaks. So never excuse that for always being in the hustle mode. That's not needed. It's good to take breaks and you should take breaks.